The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dave Boyle. I am filling in for my dear friend, Paul Solano, sitting here with my older brother, who used to be the host of something called The Boiling Point in the same time slot. We're thrilled that you could join us. We have some special guests. We've got a very unique show planned for today. It said we have a live studio audience. I said Rob Hackler and Christine James would be proud of us. We have about 7 or 8 people in the room, all packed in together. We have our microphones. We're good to go. The show is presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. I still think that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Again, happy 4th of July, happy 250th birthday. I am old enough to remember the bicentennial, which is back in 1976, and everybody had red, white, and blue bathing suits and all that fun stuff. Again, I'm Dave Boyle. I'm filling in for Paul. Paul was unable to make it today, but we know that Paul wears another hat as the general manager of the Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. He always gives a huge shout-out to Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and his culinary team. Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. With me in the studio, well, I'm going to jump over that for 1 second. I always like to give a couple of shout-outs. Mike on the North River, I know you're always out there listening. Senor Pablo sitting on the beach in Hummerock, I'm sure you're having fun. To Johnny B. and Will, I always like to say hi to you guys. And my special guest, I believe, Arjun, your grandparents are listening, so I have to say a shout-out and say hello to your grandparents. So, in studio with me, my brother Arthur, who you heard a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, and Mom always liked you the best.
She did. I was her favorite. I was a cute one, too. I always introduce myself as your younger, better-looking brother, and wealthier, too, I think.
There's no question about that.
Then we have sitting across from me who's going to do a very special Pledge of Allegiance for us. 1 second, not yet. Well, I'll tell you when, but Arjun, right? Do you want to say hi to the audience? Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. And then I have my great niece. Oh, my heavens, Caitlin. She's going to be doing a version of the national anthem with her boyfriend, Francis. All right?
Hello.
There we go. So we've been saying hello there. So I think we're going to start the show off by starting with our Pledge of Allegiance. So, Arjun, if you would take it away, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely amazing. That's an 8-year-old second-grade student. Oh, my heavens, Tim, I almost forgot about you, the Wizard of Oz behind the glass.
Yes, the Wizard of Oz is here. Happy July 4th.
I'm hearing the racing. What's the big race this week?
Back to Chicagoland after a few years.
We go.
Yeah, skipping the road course. They were at Sonoma last weekend, and the Aussie, Shane Van Gisbergen, both Saturday and Sunday won.
There we go.
You got a road course. He's the guy to pick.
Believe it or not, I've been to Sonoma being in the wine business.
Nice.
I went out to Napa Valley, Sonoma Valley, and someone said, you have to see the racetrack. It's a sight to be seen.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I wasn't out there for a race, so I want to make that clear. But
were you racing
on
the track?
Fast as a deer. You should see me go.
Very nice.
Poetry in motion.
Yeah. But Tim is the guy that makes this whole thing go, which is a heck of a lot of fun, so we do it. So we're going to come back to Arjun with a couple of questions, but not yet. But we're going to jump in, and we're going to ask my wonderful, wonderful great niece and her boyfriend, and they're going to sing the national anthem for us. You're on.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Once again, a studio. That was amazing. And they say that is one of the hardest songs to sing for a singer. I give Francis Scott Key full credit that he was able to do that. Thank you. I said your uncle is very proud of you. Francis, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. Go enjoy the 4th. Have the fireworks, go swimming. Just go have a wonderful time.
We should point out, my brother, that these are 2 students that just graduated from Pembroke High School.
Oh, there we go. Congratulations. And said Pembroke School Committee guy, so I'm very proud of you guys. So we're going to switch a couple seats here. Arjun, I'm going to turn the microphone back to you, buddy. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want to ask you a couple of questions. As a second grader, a very dynamic personality, I always tell people, you know about people, I call it it. And I tell people, you know it when you see it. You have it. You are just that young man, charismatic. I think the world of you. So let me ask you the question, buddy. What do you like about living in America?
I like that I can go to schools I want to. I like that I can have my own religion. And I like that I can be free in America.
I wish I had I would say the guts or the wherewithal to be able to do that. Arjun, I'm going to ask your mom a quick question. We're going to put her on the spot here a little.
Well, hello.
This is the lovely, what's your name, young lady? Introduce yourself to our studio audience.
Hi, I am mother of Arjun, Saras.
Saras is a beautiful woman. You got to stay close. There we go. And you weren't born in this country.
No, I was born in Nigeria.
You were born in Nigeria. Now, Arjun was born in this country?
Arjun was born right here in Boston, Massachusetts.
There we go. Okay, that's good to know. So I'm not sure there's probably a question for the two of you. What is your religion then? Because you said you can free to practice your religion?
Yeah, my religion is Hinduism.
Hinduism? Huh. Can you maybe explain to me what Hinduism is to some of our viewers, or viewers, audience, whatever you care to call them?
Yeah. It means that we believe in Bhagwan, which means God, and we do the right thing.
Oh, there we go. I always say that doing the right thing is what we call integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. What's your favorite holiday? I think I know the answer to this.
My favorite holiday is Christmas.
There we go. Why is it Christmas? Because you get presents?
And I get to play out in the snow, and I get to drink hot cocoa, and it's just fun.
Okay. That's amazing. If someone came to America for the first time, where would you want to take them?
I would want to take them to Great Wolf Lodge.
To Great Wolf Lodge? Why Great Wolf Lodge?
Because it's super fun, because it's a hotel where there's a water park and there's an arcade, and there's a lot of fun things. And it's just, fun.
No, that's the thing. And you're going into third grade?
Yes.
And what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is art.
Art. Do you want to do something with art when you grow up? Graphic arts or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do that, but I want to be a secret agent when I grow up, and I want to be an EDMI musician when I grow up.
Well, see, you just told everybody you want to be a secret agent, so now it's not a secret anymore.
Uh-oh.
Shh, we won't tell anybody. Is that fair? Okay.
That's fair.
We won't anybody know. Mom, you must be proud of him. He's a great little kid.
The proudest.
There we go.
The proudest.
Life is unbelievable. This is so much fun having you here. Have you ever been on the radio before?
No.
Is this fun?
Yes.
Yeah, you having a good time?
Yes.
That's what we like. That's always the way to do it. That's a lot of fun. We have another guest in-house who's going to take probably up a lot of our time. I'm going to ask you to get a little close to the microphone. Believe it or not, you'll get a kick out of this. I tell people, you meet some people in the most unique places, perhaps fancy wine galas, who knows, right? I go to the same coffee shop. I'm going to give Sandy's a plug up in Hanson. And I met this gentleman who's sitting across from us, and his name is Mark Valentine. And Mark could be one of the most fascinating people I've ever met, could be one of the most patriotic people I've ever met. Mark, I'm going to let you do a little bit of an intro of yourself, who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Well, live in Halifax my whole life. I'm a conceptual artist. For the last almost 40 years, I've been the curator of the National Flag Exhibit, which is a government collection of giant flags that we have taken around the world to 30 different countries. Each flag is 90 feet, 9 stories high by 45 wide. As a matter of fact, we flew one of the most famous of the collection is the Mount Rushmore flag, which we have flown here in Marshfield. We flew it off a huge crane down at the Green Harbor Marina, I believe it was 1992. So it's I'm still curator of the flag exhibit.
That is amazing. Now, I've got a couple of bullet points, and again, you and I have known each other casually, I'm saying probably for a few years now, right? We see each other almost every morning. You have a museum kind of part of your house. Can you just explain that part, separate from the flag, I guess?
Well, I am the superintendent of the famous legs, and everyone to look up Google Miles Standish famous legs. We have the 9-ton legs. That's all that's left of the original Miles Standish Monument in Duxbury that was struck by lightning and destroyed in 1922. And they tried to fix them. They couldn't. They took them 4 years to make a new upper body and the pilgrim head in the hat and all. But they found a crack on the legs, our original legs, which we have on display in Halifax. And so they threw them in the quarry in Quincy, the legs, until we found them in the early 90s and brought them back to Halifax, where Miles Standish owned a piece of prime property, which is now where our elementary school stands.
That is absolutely, I find that fascinating. I've seen the legs. They're actually in front of your place. If anyone knows Route 58, kind of...
right off of 58.
I still call it the Our Lady of the Lake Church.
Lady of the Lake Church. Yes, it still is.
Is it still Lady of the Lake?
Lady of the Lake.
I thought they changed the name.
Right.
I have to get back to church a little more often. Now, just for fun, Arjun, I'm going to put you on the spot here again. We had talked earlier, and I said, do you know what Mount Rushmore was? And I was surprised. What was your answer?
I know what Mount Rushmore is. It's a mountain with the face of all the important presidents of the United States of America.
That is impressive. For a second grade, I hate to say it, I'm not sure if I could name the 4. I'd probably be at a loss to do that. So heaven knows. Now, again, you showed me pictures. You gave me a bunch of stuff, Mark. You flew this over, one of the flags, over the State House in Boston.
Yeah, we've done many great, as a conceptual artist, we always look for something great and dramatic. We took the famous Mount Rushmore flag, which we flew here in Marshfield, to cover Lincoln on Mount Rushmore in 1987 to mark his 50th rededication. And when the president gave the signal, the giant flag made here in Massachusetts was unfurled off the face of Lincoln, and the flag returned in 1989 to cover Roosevelt for his 50th rededication.
That's amazing. Now, I hate to put you on the spot. Correct me. Who were the other 2 presidents on there? And I'm embarrassed to say I probably would have known this when I was in second grade, hopefully.
Well, Jefferson. And Teddy Roosevelt.
There we go. Right. Okay, see, we live and learn. So if all those people out there playing Jeopardy, you either just won or just lost. I'm not sure which. I have to ask a basic question, Mark. How did you get into this? How does someone all of a sudden say, I'm going to get a 90-foot flag and, hang it off the top of buildings and drive it around the world, and you've been on railroad cars, and, again, your story's fascinating. I could talk to you all day.
Well, the first thing is that people should know, and if they have forgotten, that Mount Rushmore is our national shrine to democracy. Mount Rushmore is dedicated to the very founding, preservation, and growth of our country, as embodied by these 4 men who never lost sight of the simple concept on which our country was founded, and that is that man has the right. Man has the right to be free and to be happy. And I got the job in 1986, matter of fact, to do a special ceremony at Mount Rushmore for, it was the Statue of Liberty year in 86, if we all remember.
Yep.
And from that, they said, well, next year is the Lincoln rededication. Would you be interested? And I said, well, you better get me up there right now. I'm not going to go back to Boston and then fly back just to... Well, originally they had used a 60-foot flag, and I figured, no, it would be better with a 90. And very special. We got sponsors, all local sponsors, to pitch in, and the flag was sewn together at the Kennedy Library. It's a very special. We had to get permission from Jackie Onassis to, move the sewing machines into the library, and we had over 12,000 Boston school children file through to watch the flag being made.
That's amazing. I do not know that story. Right. That is incredible. Wow. That's Mark. This is the thing. But I guess I ask you the question: how does one apply for that job? Or they came looking for you? It's just I don't see that advertised like on LinkedIn or something, like searching for a guy with a 90-foot flag. Are you available?
Well, as a conceptual artist, I've always done things around the South Shore. I brought the Boston Pops down to the Hanover Mall when it opened in 1972, and it was a real case of bringing the music to the people. And, of course, the other local here in Marshfield, which I'm sure there are still some survivors around, was the famous Montilio's Pie Fight, the last day of the Marshfield Fair in 1985, where Montilio's donated 5,000 meringue pies. And it was a formal wedding, 500 wedding guests, of course, that, like the Three Stooges, it gets out of hand, and the next thing you know, 5,000 pies were flying through the air. Besides throwing Curly through 3 7-foot wedding cakes, it was spectacular. And I'm sure there are many people out there that are survivors of that day.
That's an amazing story. And George Montilio is a personal friend of mine. He's a great guy, one of the nicest, most generous people you will ever meet in your entire life.
Well, it took us a week. We had to bring up a crew of 10 people every night from Halifax to George turned over his bakery in Quincy, and 5,000 pies fill an 18-wheel tractor trailer to the brim, if you can believe it.
I can't even imagine what 5,000 pies looks like, never mind being
in 3 minutes.
End of the Marshfield Fair in 3 minutes. End of August, right? Usually the Marshfield Fair would be the last week of August.
Right. Well, it was perfect because it was the last day of the fair, and the last big event is Jerry Chitwood and his racing show.
Yep.
Well, it turned out to be a rain shower, which added about 6 inches of mud. So they had to cancel the Jerry Chitwood show. But as a final, we were throwing the pies to Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody No. 3, which you all would know. So with the 6 inches of mud on the racetrack, the final note of the music, I had everyone, the 500 guests, dressed formally, dive into the mud.
That I wish I was a fly on the wall. I hate to tell you how old I was back then, but that's incredible. Right. That's just a great story. My heaven, give me one more memory of doing something crazy with the flag. Would it be the English Channel going under, or would it be?
Well, I was over for D-Day in 1994, and the tunnel under the English Channel didn't open until the fall of '94. So I was the only thing on the train with a couple of VIPs, and it was the first kept in this very special chest, which I know, Dave, you saw at my house. 900-pound cherry chest made from cherry wood from every town in the county, including Marshfield, and that's what we carry the flags in. And that carried the first American flag under the English Channel. Matter of fact, all that we're saying is you can Google, and as I mentioned before, everyone is welcome to help out. We're trying to raise the money for the head for Miles Standish. We've ordered the head. It's going to be 2,000 pounds, just his head from the neck up. And that new head is going to go with the famous legs. You can look up famous legs, Roadside America or whatever. And the new head is going to be placed at his feet. At his feet, not trying to put him back together. No, the exhibit we have is the famous legs with his head laying at his feet, where they found it after it was destroyed by the violent lightning bolt.
Oh, my heavens. I'm going to hold you right there, Mark. We're going to come back to you. I think stealing my brother's line, who's sitting next to me, says it's not time to make the donuts. It's time to pay some bills. Let's hear from some of our sponsors. I think, Tim, this is right. Cut away to you, my friend.
Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
Good afternoon, everyone. David Boyle sitting in for Paul Solano today with my brother Arthur as my co-host, with the lovely Cyrus, the lovely Arjun, and my dear friend Mark. We, our national anthem singers, have headed to the beach. They got a better offer. So
They were great. They were great.
They were fantastic. That's a hard song to sing, and then you're trying to sing it with no, what's the word, a cappella. And just the range on that, and to be able to hit it, and they were sitting down. I can't imagine, like, we couldn't have them stand up because of the way the microphones are. So that was pretty amazing. I probably should give a little bit of a shout-out, though, to my dear friend Paul. This is season 2, but I'm not sure what show number. And Tim, unless you know.
It's about 29.
Is it about 29 or so, give or take, which is a pretty darn impressive, body of work. Shelley Wolf isn't with us today. Again, everyone kind of 4th of July off, so we understand that for sure. Who's the other folks? There's a young lady who does health and wellness survival tips, Sharon Filial. She is also off today. The same with our Olympic proportions segment. We usually have Paul Crowley and Dave Jensen, a former member of Boston Bruins. And he was a BU guy, too, wasn't he?
Yes, I believe he was.
Yeah, I think he knows Uncle Mike. There's a brother in between the two of us. He's actually the rich one. We're the other ones.
Well, one of us had to be born handsome.
Well, that was me. So it was the easy part. So it was fun. Let me jump back now. Mark, you said you had a story about the national anthem, correct?
Yes, I do. Real quick. Shout out to Bill Henchy, who's the head of security at the coffee shop, because once those raspberry sticks come out, there's always a rush to get them. So we're very grateful. All these flags, for 30 going on actually 40 years going with the flags around the world, our official message, and I know it's tough with the sporting events, but why you're not supposed to cheer before the end of the national anthem. And I know we do it at sports events, and how can we not help it being so excited? But the official government account is, by cheering before the end of the national anthem, you're missing the very important last words, which is land of the free, home of the brave. Now, where that brave came from was added in part to the national anthem in memory of the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence. That was treason. Of the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, 6 never even made it home. 6 were instantly seized on the road and killed. 4 of them had their sons grabbed and imprisoned in the length of the war. 12 of them, within 2 weeks of signing from Virginia North, had their homes, farms, shipyards, factories burned to the ground. And 9 of them were killed on the battlefield. This is why, at least now, it's hard to stop in the sporting events, and, I've been 30 years trying to, but of course, we certainly understand. But I think on the 4th of July, 2 things that I brought, that Mount Rushmore is our national shrine to democracy, and number 2, that it actually is improper. That's why when the president is at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, when they play the national anthem, there's not a clap, there's not a whistle, it's silence in reverence and to honor our honored dead.
I had no idea. That's absolutely fascinating. And I can't lie, your first instinct is near the very end, you yell out, play ball, right? I mean, that's just what people do.
Right.
But I do remember, not that I was a Philadelphia Flyers fan,
Right.
but Kate Smith singing God Bless America.
Sure. Right.
I almost cry when I hear that version.
Well, I think
it's amazing.
Bringing up a couple points like this on a special day like this is important that at least you know what the proper etiquette is, and which is important. That a lot of things that we've lost, that you should at least like a little civics lesson here on the 4th of July.
It's amazing. Go ahead, Cyrus.
Okay, I would like to ask a question pertinent to this conversation. So why is it we say Happy 4th of July versus Happy Independence Day?
You got me.
I couldn't come up with an answer. She had mentioned that to me before, and I said, there's certain things you say to somebody.
Right.
Why is it Happy 4th of July? Right. So if by chance there is someone who's listening in a studio audience and can give us an answer to that. But you know what's funny? I asked a question, too. I had an uncle that was former Green Beret, not to go down memory lane here, but I asked him how D-Day got its name, and he couldn't tell me. He goes, it's always been D-Day. And I said, what does the D stand for? And no one could tell me. And I was like, little known. Questions, facts, answers, whatever it happens to be. Right. So it's how it works out.
Well, one answer I can give you is the clapping before the end of the national anthem. Our dad, and we may not remember too well, given that he would have been about 8 months old at the time, that Dad had called his players together, and they had shown some disrespect to the guests and so forth. And anyway, Dad's coaching method was somewhat autocratical, and he said that we don't bring anything to the table that you can't handle. And it's I lost my train of thought there, but
well, to say Dad was a bit of a disciplinarian.
Yeah, he was a disciplinarian, but he said to the kids, I remember them being a little set back by it, but he said, don't you move and don't you breathe until that song is over.
Yeah.
Right.
Dad was a former MP. I've talked about my dad a couple of times on the show. Very proud of what I call my family background. Now, none of my brothers or my sister of us served in the military. My mother was one of 8. 6 boys, 2 girls. 7 of them served in the military. I think I told you, Mark, my mother was a Marine in World War II, which was, they called them BAMs, but we have a young studio audience here, so I have to be careful of saying what a BAM stands for. My dad was an MP in the Army, and was a drill sergeant. And as I tell people, one of the things I loved most about my dad that I learned from him, and we actually had this lesson with Arjun the other day, is, that ladies eat first, but my dad would always say, always let your troops eat first. He said, and if there's something left, then you can have it. He said, but you feed your men first and you treat your people well.
Right.
They will in turn follow you to the end of the earth.
And I believe it was Eisenhower that made sure that in 1944 that hot turkey dinner was served to the troops in the front.
Really?
Yeah. Right.
That's
however he swung that, I'm not sure, but they had a hot turkey dinner.
Hey, when you're a general or a young president, it's amazing what you can get done.
Right.
That I would say in the halls of justice, the justices in the halls, which I think was Lenny Bruce's great quote. Mark, so tell me more. If there's an event you could do, would you like to do the Super Bowl, the World Cup?
Well, we did. We've done the Super Bowl in Tampa.
You did,
but and that was the first one, I believe, right after 9/11.
Yeah,
and. But the idea is that I'd like to, in this latest project with the famous legs, I'd like to invite everybody, history buffs, historians, families, individuals, all the fans of Monty Python, to be a part of this. Stop by and see me, or you can make a donation, if you don't mind my plug, into the Rockland Trust. Miles Standish Famous Legs, code 8534, And it's more than just getting your name on a plaque at the monument, but stop by and see me. It's right off of 58 in Halifax, the famous legs, and you can Google it, Roadside America or America Obscura, and be a part of a most unique 250th birthday exhibit.
Well, this is one of the reasons I asked you to come on. I said, we had talked about this, and I said, the next time I'm going to host a show for Paul, I have somebody I have to have on. And then my brother Arthur thought it'd be great to have kind of that patriotic, again, this is a kind of a free form show today. Usually we're a lot more formal. Shelley does her piece, and we'll break for a commercial. We come back with the health and wellness piece, break for the commercial, have a guest, that type of thing. So there's a little bit of things. So this is just, I love the kind of the open forum part of this. I think it's amazing to be able to see a young man like this that could do the Pledge of Allegiance cold. It was amazing to see two young kids. I say young kids, they're 18 and probably on their way to college, that are able to do the Star Spangled Banner
and know the words.
Yeah, and know the words. Well, it is, again, being a young kid. We were joking about this yesterday. When I was young, I always wanted to know who Richard Stans was. If you do the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, for which it stands. As a young kid, I thought it was for Richard Stans, and as a young kid, I said, "Who is Richard Stans?" I have no idea. I thought he's not like George Washington. Like everybody knows who George Washington is. Right. So I'll just throw this one in. We joked about this yesterday.
Yes.
Who is the most famous reindeer of all? Right. Olive. Olive, the other reindeer. See, I always thought there was an extra reindeer. I'd count and say, which one's Olive?
You've been listening to Solano's jokes too much.
Oh, no, but I said, I'm not trying to steal. But I don't think I must have been the slow kid in class or something at some point, because I thought there was a reindeer named Olive. And I'd count, Donna, Blitzen, you do the whole thing and say, well, where's Olive? There should be one more. And my mother used to look at me like, yeah, I think your father dropped you once or twice, but it's, these wonderful things happen to us. So you do get used to it. So you've done the Super Bowl, with a World Cup, a major concert. I look like they did with Simon and Garfunkel had 1 million people or something in Central Park.
Well, speaking of the tall ships, I was in Amsterdam where we did the flag for the last leg of the race. The race goes around the world and ends in Amsterdam, and that's so we've been around. But as I said, we have a great connection with Marshfield between the pie fight and flying the famous Mount Rushmore flag at Green Harbor. And, we had to move in a 350-ton crane there at the harbor just to fly it. And at the last minute, the wind changed with the tide, and we had to stop and move the crane to, so with it. But the South Shore has, they've hosted many of our events, special events, and they've always been a great success. And that's why this is a great one and historical one with the Miles Standish that I encourage everyone to be a part of and can be a part of it. And as I said, it's more than just getting your name on a plaque. It's being a part of history.
Oh, I think it's amazing that actually Cyrus and I were at an event last week, I want to say, and my name is on the wall at the Wang Center, which I never knew.
Yes.
I had done some informal donations to the Wang Theater, and we were watching a show, and someone said, "Oh, I saw your name on the wall." And I said, what's my name doing on the wall? I never in a million years. My name is on the wall at Springfield College. I will take full credit for that. But yeah, my name. If you go up into what they call the Loge Club area, there's a thing. Didn't ask for it. Not totally sure how it happened, but I have to get my name on this stuff. Again, it's funny we're talking about the event. We did a showing on Monday for the Pembroke Veterans Memorial Park, and we're trying to raise funds, almost like what Kingston did, same idea. Right. And there was a bunch of people that bought bricks, and it's amazing how many people are like, oh, my name was on the bricks. What's going to happen to the bricks? And you're like, they're saving them. They're going to, remount them or repoint them or whatever you do. But I just think it's a great idea. You're memorialized. You're there pretty much for life. Right. Which is absolutely fantastic. I think we have to cut away. Where's my friend Tim? We're pretty close. Okay, again, it's time for a few commercials. Time to pay the bills, and then we'll probably come back for our last little segment. And I hope everybody's having fun and beat the heat out there and stay cool. And happy 250th and happy Independence Day.
Thank you.
How's that?
Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Dave Boyle filling in with my brother Arthur, former segment host of The Boiling Point. I keep making the point that I am the younger, better-looking brother. It's far more fun.
I have no comment on that.
Plead the fifth. That's half the battle. But we're here with a couple of fascinating guests. Arjun is having fun. You get to do the Pledge of Allegiance. You get to ask a few questions and have some fun. We have your beautiful mom, Cyrus, sitting here with us.
Hi, everyone.
And we have my good friend Mark Valentine, who's hiding over in the corner, doing quite well. Mark, you and I were just talking off air about the sculpture and where it's being done. And
Right, just real quickly, this is a major, major work of art. It's 2,000 pounds. This is just for the head, from the neck up, with the pilgrim hat, a very distinguished beard and all. But it's being done in Barry, Vermont, at the Barry, Vermont Sculpture Studios by a very famous sculptor, Jerry Williams. Now, he has 2 works of his already in the White House, a full-size bronze statue of Ben Franklin and a full-size bronze statue of Alexander Hamilton. So this is a major, major work of art that I'm asking you all to be involved in. And, of course, it'll be lots of pomp and circumstance when it arrives back here in the county and is placed next to his feet. So, again, I encourage everyone to be part of history and do what you can to help out.
let me ask a question. I'm sure this isn't free and it's not definitely tax supported, or are you getting grants? Or
No, it's...
and you said Rockland Trust.
Rockland Trust, donations can be made to Rockland Trust Code 8534. We've already raised over $40,000 towards it, and we have a ways to go, but I'm sure there's not going to be a problem because people, when they find out about it, and especially the Monty Python slant, and matter of fact, we're adding that to the musical score. Of course, Rule Britannia and God Save the King when it arrives and all this, but the Monty Python march will be perfect. And that's what everyone marched onto the muddy track at the wedding in Marshfield, the Montilio's wedding, to the Monty Python. You got it? Okay.
That's beautiful. Well, again, only because we mentioned the Wang, Spamalot is going to play the Wang for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
Oh, no
October, Sarah,
Sometime
somewhere
this
around
fall.
there. Yep.
Yes.
So the thing. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, buddy. You got a couple of questions, or you? Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Off air, he said, "Dave, how come I don't get to talk as much?" I said, "Well, you have to be able to ask some questions." I said, "That's the fun part about trying to host a radio show."
Well, I don't talk very much either, and it's 50 years of being married.
Oh,
I'm hoping Helen's not listening to that.
She's listening in the car.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
Oh no, that was Mandy. That was my niece, who was out in the car with the kids.
Really?
Yep, that was my niece.
Oh.
That's well, I hate to tell you how old.
All beautiful women.
I hate to tell you how old they are. I said I was in high school when Arthur got married. I'm way out of high school at this point. Matter of fact, I just filed for Medicare, which tells you how old I am.
I was out of high school too.
Yeah, you were a year out of high school when you got married. Heaven knows. Mark, what's the total cost of this going to be, if you don't mind me in ballpark?
It's $55,000.
Oh, okay, so you are close.
Yeah, we're over half.
Wow.
So, and we're hopefully that we should have it in hand. I have to go up in about 3 weeks to okay the clay model. It's been a long process. We had to order it last September, and then of course we had to order the granite block. It's out of granite before the frost, before the winter, and so they've done it starts very different stages. Styrofoam, then they do it out of mud. And that's what we have to go up to approve if we want an extra curl in the beard or something. And we're taking it from original plans, and but it's quite the process. So we hopefully we'll have it by, I would say, probably the first week in September, and for the dedication shortly after.
All right. So here's the question I do have for you. You live in actually what I would consider a residential neighborhood.
Right.
So if people come to see this, should they park at the church, or what do they do?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm commercial business where I live.
Right. I mean, you're technically, but I mean, there's not a lot of.
Well, we have 4 parking spots there.
Okay.
And they can park on the street, but that's why where I used to have the flag trucks, and carried the flags. Those are big trucks, and I was allowed because it's zoned business commercial.
Okay.
Not residential.
Yeah, and you're almost off of one of the lakes, that East Lake, West Lake?
I'm on the West Lake.
On West Lake, okay. That's
right.
I know the area.
Right on the Hanson line.
Yeah. Again, just from an outsider's point of view, I talked to Mark about this project, and I want to say I met you one morning at 7 o'clock, and you walked me through the whole thing. I think people thought we were crazy. We're walking around the yard and 7 o'clock, and he's pointing all this stuff out. His house is like a walking museum. It's just... again, I go back to you're one of the most fascinating people I think I have ever met. What you do, when you meet people and you never quite know what their story is and what makes them tick. I bragged for a couple of seconds. People said to me, what's one of the coolest things you ever did? I said, I worked the Olympics in 1996, and people go, you were in the Olympics? I said, no. I did not run, throw, swim. I did none of the above. I happen to be a security professional, and I had done security. And then that leads to the question of, well, what else have you done? And I said, I did the World Cup the last time I was in town. My company's doing some work for the World Cup right now. It's just, it's fun. So when I got your backstory, I never would have known. At least at Billy Hinchy, I'm laughing as director of security at the coffee shop. I was actually teasing Rusty, one of the owners, and I said, so who else was standing next to you when you and Hancock signed this thing? He's like, wow, why do you do that to people? I said, because I can. It's half the fun. Again, this has just been fascinating. But what's on the wish list?
I have a question. Where is this coffee place that has these raspberry things that are so delicious? Because I would like to go.
I will get one for you at Sandy's. We will get you a raspberry stick.
Please and thank you.
And I have to get there early in the morning to get it.
Yes,
so
sir.
they go quickly.
Right.
That's half the battle.
Okay.
I always thought that place would be like an episode of Cheers. Everyone in there has their little backstories, front stories. They're so much fun. Mark, I will tease you for a second. You're not a big technology person. You don't even have a cell phone, I think you told me?
I've never had a cell phone.
I find that fascinating in the year 2026 that someone has not had a cell phone.
Well, sometimes it's, especially when people are trying to get a hold of me, but I have enough people that you can call this number. You can get me around supper time, but the phone doesn't even work. It's static.
Wow.
Very few people do you meet these days that don't have a cell phone, but I've never had one.
I'm envious.
Around the world twice, because someone always has it. I conducted the Boston Pops. And as a conductor, I can't have anything in my hands other than a baton. So a phone where I lose my glasses all the time, I'd be losing the phone. And that's why I've directed the artillery at the Medford we dedicated 4 war memorials in Medford with the what's the mayor's name?
Mike McGlynn, probably
McGlynn,
right back.
right.
Yeah, great guy.
And they always say the Army comes over and so, "Here, Mr. Valentine, just talk into the mic, say fire." When I said, "No, I have to see with my hand signals. I can't have something, as though." So I've never had a cell phone. That's what it comes down to. And
I respect that so much. It's liberating. And,
yes, it is.
And you really don't need a cell phone all the time. People functioned without them before.
Well,
right?
Well, I've noticed, like, even at the coffee shop, no one, you want to get into a good conversation with someone, and the next thing you know, they're sticking the phone in your face, showing, well, look at this here and look at this, and hey, no, I'm fine. So I kind of avoid all that, and the blood pressure is very low, and what else can I say?
No, I laugh if you look at a guy like me. I think at one point, when I worked at my original company, I want to say I had 7 different phone numbers and 3 email addresses, and just trying to keep track of it. But you said, I was married to it.
Right.
It was one of those things. I know this conversation is going a completely different direction, by the way.
Right.
And I said, of course, my brother's not a big cell phone guy either. And did you text, Arthur?
No, I don't text, and I barely use the cell phone. It's not something I'm wild about.
Yeah, but he'll butt dial me about 4 times a day. And I call him back, and he's like, "What?" I said, "You called me." "No, I didn't." I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll pick my battles."
Well, that's why I tell everyone you won't get me on the phone. Drop by and see the legs in person. Take a good picture of yourself.
Yeah. No, but people have become. It's such a 24-hour. I think just fun. Does Arjun have a cell phone?
Do you have a cell phone, Arjun?
I don't really use a cell phone.
Okay. Now, as a mom, what age do you think is a cell phone appropriate, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't think a cell phone is appropriate for many years to come, but I also he's 8, so he doesn't need a cell phone as far as I'm concerned now.
Yeah.
When he's 12, 15, 16, that might be a different conversation. Definitely when he's driving, I think he should have a cell phone. But I would love it if there was a functionality where if you're driving, you can't text. Because, even just driving here today or yesterday, you see people stopped at stop signs and their head is down as they're typing.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
No, it is. It's not. It's one of those things. But
I've seen people watching sports on their phone while they're driving.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Got it propped up on the dash and they're watching a soccer game or something. I'm like, you're driving your car right now. Listen to it on the radio.
Right. Or watching a movie.
Yeah, that's not the time to watch a movie. If you're the passenger, that's fine. But if you're driving, your movie is the road.
Right.
That's true.
But you know what? And I'm probably guilty of this, and I'm really feeling guilty now. But I tell people in my past life, like I said, I used to cover 6 states and sales and all these different things. I would average between texts and emails over 300 a day.
Oh, too
so
much.
the thing is, if you work as I do, I'm up every day at 5. I go to bed usually between 12 and 1. If I didn't clear texts and stuff, and not as much email. I'm not going to read an email when I'm driving, but I have voice text, so
Yes.
you can sit and say, "Hey, Dave, what time are you going to be at the show?" I can press the button and say, "Tim, I'll be there by 11:45." But I can't imagine if I didn't do that. I'd be getting home at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and just returning emails and texts, and again,
You may not get to go to sleep.
exactly. The 4 hours I get isn't going to be that treasured anymore. But you do find that the problem now is people, will text you. They'll call you. I used to have the pages. And I paged you. I'm like, okay, I saw the page.
Beep, 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 beep.
And we're showing our age here when you're talking pagers. But you look at someone and say, I got the page. I'm like, what do you think? I just run to a phone booth like Superman? I'm like,
Yes.
here we go.
Exactly.
I'm calling you back. I knew I was in trouble years ago when my company wanted to put a fax machine into my car.
Oh.
They wanted to put
no.
almost
No,
like
no.
you would have a police computer,
Yeah.
but mine would have been a fax machine.
No.
Well, I was the first truck in the country to have a fax machine, and I still can't understand how the paper comes through that little wire.
Same here. Yeah.
Oh, my heavens. Well, I got to tell you, this has been an amazingly interesting show. I am so grateful, for my friend Paul that he lets me do this. I tell people it's a pleasure. I know friends of mine. I've got a dear friend who's been on the radio for, heavens knows how many years, probably 50 years now, and he gets paid to do this, and he makes a living at it. And I said, Paul calls me. I would do it. I do it for free. It's what you do. You get to meet fascinating people like yourself, Mark, which is amazing. You get to see outstanding young men like this, and you say, this is our future. This is where we're going. We need more young men like this. We need more people like you out there that do this stuff. So, okay, I call that my breakaway music. So please go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD shows. Thanks again to my wonderful panel. Arjun, you were amazing. Cyrus, as always, amazing.
You're welcome.
Oh, there we go. Mark, fantastic. To my silent brother over there, thanks for coming. To the Wizard of Oz behind the glass.
I'm staying and listening to Ron Dwyer.
Yeah. Well, again, Ron Dwyer will be coming on, the Dean of Radio. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for a wonderful show. Have a happy 250th, a happy Independence Day.
You too. Same to you.
A wonderful 4th. Folks, thanks for listening. Tim, thanks for having us. Have a great day.